Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today we're going to go over a very strong idea known as Alekhine's gun. Now, this is a very cool formation that hopefully that can help you out in your chess game. Basically, it's whenever you put all three pieces, your queen, rooks, all on the same file. Now, why does this happen? Well, this typically happens when you're trying to get control over a file with, well, all the firepower that you have. And some good rules and tips we'll be going over here, but this is just another tactic or strategy that you can use in your games. And, well, the first one we're going to take a look at is going to be a game with Alekhine using it. We'll see some other demonstrations with Magnus, Carlsen, and even Mr. Fischer over here, Robert James Fischer, using this great idea. Let's get to it. Well, this is a very famous game with Alexander Alekhine versus Aron Nimzowitsch, another very strong chess player, a powerhouse in chess. And, well, in this position, Alekhine already has a great position, but he cannot break through the position just yet. Notice here that there's only one open file here, the C file. And we're going to see how, well, this came into being. Well, a few moves that got played here. Well, first things first, let's go to get our king safety. Pawn h6 got played. At this point, black's already starting to feel pressure. If you analyze this position for quite a while, you'll see that black is really running out of ideas or plans to do in this situation. I mean, literally, the knights really can't jump around too much. The rooks, I mean, because there's only one open file, this is where most of the battle is going to be at. Other than that, there's really no kingside attacking prospects. You'll just make your own kingside weak. Knight g6, again, like I said, there's just nowhere to go. You attack this pawn, but after g3, what does the knight do? Again, the queen rooks over here can only go after the c file. We're going to see how Alekhine takes control over this. Now, this is a very important and powerful concept because if you control the only open file, you're the only one that can go in and out of your opponent's position. Let's see how he does it. Rook f to c1 makes sense. We put the rook on the open file here and put pressure on the knight. Well, black's not going to just let you have it. Here we go. Rook to c8 got played. Rook to c2, and here the plan of doubling the rooks happens. Notice how Alekhine doesn't do it right away. Queen to e8, a move that you don't really want to play, but almost kind of forced here because now you're putting another defender for the knight, but you did put yourself into a pin. Okay, rook over to c1, a rook to c1, and rook b8. At this point, everything looks great. The problem here is that we still can't win on c6. Look, 1, 2, 3 defenders, and there's 1, 2, 3 attackers. Remember, when you're attacking, you need one more. At this point, now Alekhine realizes, hey, I need to get the queen in on this. But one important thing to remember is whenever you are going to be doing Alekhine's gun, which again will give you a very good battery or attack down a file, is make sure you put the queen in the back. It would do no good to play queen c3 here because whenever you take, the rook can take back, and unless you want to sacrifice your queen, which I do not recommend, it's only going to put you in trouble. So here, it's usually best when you put your queen at the bottom, and we see Alekhine do that right away. Here goes queen e3, rook c7, rook c3, queen d7, rook c2, king f8. Here black had nothing better. He's going to run his king over to try and help defend over here on the queen side. And here we go, queen to c1. And thus we have it the first time Alekhine's gun gets played here. And, well, here we go. The game actually, we don't really have to go over the rest of this, but I wanted to show you just because it's such a beautiful game real quick. And then we'll go on to 2 more demonstrations of this. Rook c8. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 defenders, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers. So the attack doesn't work. But unfortunately for Nimzowitsch in this position, he's in Zugzwang, or he cannot move anywhere, meaning any move that you make will actually just be bad for you. And so, well, Alekhine just goes ahead and punishes him. Bishop a4. Here we're just waiting around, and black has nothing good to do. b5. Bishop takes. King e8. Bishop a4. And here the simple threat is just to play b5 here. King to d8 to defend on c7. But now this is the killer move. h4. At this point, black has nothing to move. You can't move the knight. You lose the queen. You can't move the rook anywhere because, well, then you're just going to be get taken over here. If you move this rook anywhere, then c6 falls. You can't move the knight because the c6 falls. You can't move the king. Again, b5 is coming. And so at this point, black can just go ahead and resign in this position. The best that he could do is just move these pawns around. Let's go ahead and jump to our next demonstration, which is going to be with, well, Robert James Fischer. Here we have Bobby Fischer, one of the best chess players in history, and he definitely took a note about this whole idea about Alexander's gun. Now, this is actually a Roy Lopez, and this was played in 1992. This is during their rematch. Very, very, very famous time. And here, well, as you can see, it's a very, very complex position. But, going kingside tech is not the best here because they have the fianchetto over here. And the center is closed, which only leaves one idea left, which is the queenside. And here the problem is that if you just go ahead and play pawn takes, it's really hard to double the rooks here because black can just go ahead and start trading off pieces. So that's whenever Fischer remembers what Alekhine taught him and plays this brilliant idea. Rook to a3. What's the idea? We're going to make Alexander's gun. Remember, black does not want to take here because, well, if you ever take, rook takes, now we see that now we have a backwards pawn that we can attack. Now black is definitely worse. So black really has nothing better than to wait around while, well, Fischer goes ahead and just does Alexander's gun, and he's going to go ahead and take the a file over here. Here we go, knight f6, rook over to a1, queen to d7. Notice again, taking here does not do anything after pawn takes because they can just trade off here as the bishop is protecting. And here, again, black just has to sit around while white or Fischer just keeps making progress. Back to the game. Knight d2 f6, rook over to a1, queen d7, rook over to a2. Again, put your queen at the back. Rook c8, queen c1, bishop f8, queen over to a1. There's nothing stopping him now. He's got all three pieces, and he's ready to go ahead and push it into the game. After queen e8, a little bit more preparation. Knight to f1, knight d2, king g7, knight to b1. It was actually very helpful to go ahead and defend over here and also get ready to prepare knight a3 ideas to attack the b5 square. Knight took on e4. At this point, black was just losing, and Fischer already demonstrated a winning plan here. So black goes in for a crazy game. Bishop takes f5, bishop c2, bishop takes, and now we can go ahead and take on b5 here to create counterplay. Pawn takes. You're more than welcome to trade off all the pieces here. The bishop does defend, but even better is just to create counterplay. That's why rook a7 got played for active rook over here. Again, they're more than welcome to trade because we are up an extra piece here. Fischer goes on to win another very brilliant game. All right, our last example is Magnus Carlsen with Vishy with Anand. Definitely two powerhouse players. Of course, we got the goat over here with Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus Carlsen has learned from the other greats and uses his very strong idea. Here we go. In this position right here, you can see Magnus has built up another very strong attack against Vishy. And, well, Vishy is just forced to make some trades over here. Bishop takes, pawn takes, knight goes to f4, bishop takes, pawn takes, rook over to c3, pawn to c5 here. The c6 square is a little bit weak. Here, rook e6 gets played, and now we start to see the idea. We're going to try to do Alekhine's gun on the e file here. Although there's two open files here, not only are we threatening to maybe get a back rank checkmate idea, but we're also threatening really just to control e7, and then, well, this checkmate idea is around the corner. Here we go, rook b8 got played, and here a very nice idea, rook to c4. The idea is putting pressure on the f4 pawn, but the real idea, here we want to go rook to e4. Queen d7 gets played, king h2, a nice preparatory move. If you played rook over to e4, black can play queen to d1 check and force the queen trade. Of course, he's not going to want that. Rook over to f8. Ideas about maybe rook f7 to go ahead and defend. Remember, you don't want to lose the 7th rank if you don't have to. Rook over to e4. Rook over to b7. And here we go, Alexander's gun. Queen over to e2. And again, you see the strength of this. Here, another very nice position where Magnus went ahead and won this position. b5, b3, maintaining, takes, rook over to b4. Now we see the weakness that's been made. Rook over to e7, of course. Remember, we talked about the strength of the 7th rank. And here, queen d6, a little threat of f3 check to win this queen. No worries. Queen f3 stopping it. Takes. F3 check, not a problem. G3, everything's underneath control here. You can see that white has control over the open file. This rook is doomed to just defend over here. So, yeah, Magnus is just winning. H5, queen over to b7. You can see that the g7 pawn is now fatally weak over here. And, well, at this point, black just goes ahead and resigns. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, this whole idea is about controlling an open file here with the utmost pressure that you have by putting your rooks and queen all on the same file. Remember, this is a very good technique for tactics, but just overall strategy. There's only one file open. You can control it, and you can be the only one to go in and out, which means you can go in and take their material. They cannot come into your land and take any of yours. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you in the next video.